Warning, this video contains spoilers for the dumpster fire of a movie called Borderlands. If you wanted to go watch the movie before watching this, I hope you change your mind. This review might be better than the actual movie, which isn't saying much because this movie set a low bar. Enjoy! Hello, and welcome to the channel. The name is Stoneman, but you can call me Travis. I recently had the displeasure of watching the live-action remake of possibly one of my favorite video game franchises, and that disaster of a movie was Borderlands.
God, I hate this planet.
I decided to, by my better judgment, watch this movie. It wasn't going to be good. Based on the trailer, everybody knew that it was going to be a piece of, and it is, and it was. And I decided to waste my own time to watch it and see how bad it really was. You know, you can only tell so much based on one trailer or a couple trailers. But unfortunately, the things that I was judging it based on the trailers were the actors that they decided to choose for these roles. And you can't really go back after you film a trailer with all of them in it. So let's get into the casting choices. First off, we have Cate Blanchett as Lilith, which at face value was a strange casting choice for multiple reasons. One, Cate Blanchett is up there in age. And I don't mean anything by that. It's like she's older. I think she's in her 50s or something. Lilith in the games, I think she gets up to her 30s in like the third game or something like that. And they made a point of aging her up in the movie because they have Lilith say that she is too old to be doing bounty hunting and all this crap.
Bounty hunting? It's for the young and stupid, am I right?
Next we have Kevin Hart as Roland. Why? Why? There are other actors that are better options for this role. I'm not saying Kevin Hart is a bad actor. I'm not saying he's not good.
Whatever's in that vault, a man like Atlas can never get his hands on.
Calm down, okay?
No, she's a scumbag bounty hunter who works for Atlas.
Apparently he did Navy SEAL training before playing Roland, and honestly, I think he wasted his fucking time. Unless he did that, you know, personally on his own volition, whatever. But if he did that in preparation for this movie, he wasted his time. Next up, we have Jack Black as Claptrap. Interesting casting choice. It's fun to say Jack Black as Claptrap. You know, it's got a nice ring to it. Yeah, not a very good casting choice. I love Jack Black. I love a lot of the movies that he's done. I love his serious roles. I love his funny shit. But him as Claptrap was too much. Too much of Jack Black, which is weird to say. Which, after reading some reviews, turns out so did everybody else.
Hope blooms in the strangest places.
It's kind of pretty.
Mission accomplished! The doors are locked!
Next up, we have Edgar Ramirez as Atlas. I'm not familiar with Edgar Ramirez. Honestly, as a bad guy, he wasn't great. They kept making a point to be like, oh, he's bad, you better watch out. Tiny Tina's made a couple comments about him being bad.
I would have to kill the rest of that heroic band of vault hunters she's been slumming around with.
Show yourself or I kill her!
Keep struggling and I'll kill you.
Big fucking whoop. You know, every bad guy has done that in everything else. He was kind of a really lame bad guy. And then next up we got Ariana Greenblatt as Tiny Tina. I don't know who this is, actually. I haven't seen her in anything. At least as far as I can like remember or tell. She was not a very good casting choice for Tiny Tina. And I was thinking of the rest of them that she would be the closest because she looks like she would be around that age. And she's got like, you know, the charisma and like the childishness. But that's all she had and she barely delivered on that.
Can you grab my badonkadonk?
You what now?
Next up, we got Florian Montianu. I probably mispronounced that. I apologize, Florian. He played Krieg. Honestly, one of my favorite casting choices because he didn't say much. He did a good job grunting and moaning when he was killing killing psychos. It's a PG-13 movie, but I think he was probably one of my favorite like character adaptations just because of that. You know, they got his outfit, his look right. You know, a jacked dude full of scars wearing a psycho mask. You know, that's they did that and they nailed it. Look at that. Next up, we got Gina Gershon as Mad Moxie. Gina Gershon, I don't recognize from name or from face. Okay, well, that's not at all who I thought she was, but I do recognize her from other things.
You know, all the way up those stairs, right there is the elevator. Mm-hmm. Push the button. Passcode's Echo. Echo. Echo.
And then next up, we have Jamie Lee Curtis as Tanis. Okay, so what they decided to do with three characters, Lilith, Tanis, and Mad Moxie, they decided to age them up quite a bit to tie in with this backstory that they created for the movie. I didn't like the way that Jamie Lee Curtis acted as Tanis. She kind of made too much of a character out of it, made too much of a meal out of it. I think Jamie Lee Curtis got a little too cartoony with it. I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
What? Did you guys want to use it?
There's an honorable mention I wanted to throw in there. He wasn't part of the main cast, but I think he did a really, actually decent job in this movie. One of the few actors who portrayed a character from the game series that I think did a decent job. And that is Benjamin Byron, who played Marcus. I actually liked the way that he played Marcus. I think he did a good job. The accent was good. The look was good. He looked the part.
Hello, passenger. My name is Marcus. But of course, you're not here for small talk. Nice try, Miss Vladoff Infinity. I never forget a gun.
I wish he had more speaking roles. I am upset that they didn't use him as the narrator because he's like the narrator in all of the previous games. I guess I don't know about the fourth one. I haven't played it. But they chose not to use him as the narrator, even though they had a narrator in the movie. And now, yeah, let's just dive right into the plot. Basically, for any Borderlands fan out there, any diehard fan out there, the plot is take all the lore that you love about Borderlands, take all the story arc that you love about these characters that they chose to use in this movie, and throw it all out the window. Smash it, even. Throw it out the window and smash it with a hammer. Smash it with a hammer in like an Office Space type montage, right? Just destroy it. And when you're done smashing it, find someone who owns a Tommy tank and see if you can run it over with that Tommy tank just to really obliterate it. Because that's basically what they did with the source material in this movie. They crushed it, stomped on it, pissed all over it, 10 seconds later, fizzed on top of it just for the cherry on top. They didn't stick to any source material. They didn't give a single fuck about what the story is in Borderlands, who the characters are. All they cared about was the names of these characters and the looks of these characters. And if you're new to the Borderlands franchise and you're like, oh, I kind of wanted to watch the movie to get into the franchise, don't. Just buy the first, second, or third games, or the fourth one since that one's out, and just play those games. You don't need to watch the movie. Even if you like watching movies. And now you're probably hearing me start to rant a little bit. And that's pretty much what this video is going to be, I think. There's no way that I can have an unbiased review for this movie because it's bad. It sucks. It's so bad. And now I know it's been like a year or whatever since it's been out. I'm kind of late to the hate train or whatever. It's bad. It's really bad. The people who I do not want to blame for this movie are the props department, the set directors, and the costume designers. All those people should get a fucking round of applause, honestly. The props looked good. The costumes looked really good. I really enjoyed the costumes. They were very close to the characters in the games. I think Tannis's was my favorite. I think her red, like, jacket attire was actually pretty spot on. I really enjoyed it. And again, Craig, I think Craig looked really awesome. You really nailed that. I'm just sorry that your hard work and dedication to the source material was ruined by the writing and the direction. And for some reason, they decided to make this a PG-13 movie, which was an odd choice for this, because this is a mature game. There's blood, there's guts, there's decapitations and things like that. And yet, in the movie, when you see anyone pop a shot on anyone else, there's no blood, there's no guts, there's no gore. You just kind of see someone take the bullet, you know. There was actually a scene where Lilith and another character were shooting at a, like, cage with psychos on the other side of it. They had just locked them behind this door. And you see the camera angle of them shooting at the cage, but the psychos don't react at all. No one's getting hit. No one cares. There's another scene where Lilith pulls out a flamethrower, blasts a bunch of psychos with a flamethrower. You can actually see in the bottom left side of the screen that someone literally gets hit by the flamethrower and just ducks down. like takes the heat and just goes. I feel like why make it a PG-13 movie? You didn't have to make it an R-rated movie, but you could have made it just a little bit edgier than it was. I also think that using Jack Black as the comedy relief throughout the entire movie as Claptrap was a big mistake. It seemed like every empty space was filled with Jack Black as Claptrap saying something stupid. They also made him shit lead for a long time. And when I first saw it, I was like, why? What is the importance? What is the reference? What is this? And then when I was reading through the Wikipedia, it turns out that Eli Roth was inspired by his dog shitting outside in the yard. And he said that he looked like if Claptrap were to be shitting. So he decided to put a scene of Claptrap shitting.
Keep it down.
Do I touch you when you blast out alone?
Don't want to.
The joke didn't land for me because I didn't know if that was something he could actually do. And it was right after something that I didn't know he could do either. And I wasn't even sure if it was a thing that he could do. And I wasn't even sure what the fuck it was. Let's take a look at that scene right now. And I don't remember Claptrap being indestructible in the games either. But he gets shot a lot. He gets blasted by psychos. He comes back, crawling back. He falls on the ground. And then he does something weird where he, like, pops his outer layer of armor off. And it gets replaced by a new layer of armor. And I'm literally going to have to look into Claptrap's anatomy because I have no fucking idea if that's something that he's able to do. And it pisses me off that I have to go and research Claptrap's anatomy to see if he's able to do this thing. And there's something that really confuses me about Claptrap. When we first are introduced to him, Lilith is very trigger happy in this movie. She's just shooting at people left and right. But she shoots at Claptrap, I think she hits him, and he does like a scream, and it sounds just like Claptrap. When we first hear him, it sounds literally just like Claptrap from the first two games. But then he comes out of the shadow, and his voice changes to Jack Black. Maybe they actually took a clip of Claptrap from the game and put it in there before showing him for some reason. But why do that?
But why? Why would you do that? Why would you do any of that?
But yeah, let's get into the plot. So Lilith is a washed up bounty hunter. getting too old for this shit. She's bringing in a bounty, and she's approached by a few gentlemen who say that they represent a very rich man. She doesn't give a single fuck and immediately opens fire on these dudes, killing most of them and then just injuring the dude who was talking, basically. It's actually Atlas. And Atlas is looking for his daughter. And he needs Lilith to find her and bring her back to him. This was taking place on Promethea. And it's pretty great. It's pretty great because you're like, oh, we get to see Promethea. Awesome. You get to see a quick flyover view of Promethea, and then you're inside of a bar with Lilith and a bunch of other people. And that's it. She grew up in Pandora. Her mom gave her to Tanis when her mom got attacked and got taken or killed. I really actually can't remember what happened to her mom. It was so boring I can't remember. And she travels 50 light years to Pandora. Tiny Tina's dad is Atlas, but Roland found her and broke her out. So they escape. Lilith gets to the planet, finds Tiny Tina. We're introduced to Tiny Tina for real. She has her bombs. She's got the ears on. She's doing a terrible job at playing the character, but we have to pretend because it's a Borderlands movie. We meet the Crimson Lance, which I thought it was the Crimson Raiders. I don't know if the Crimson Lance is a different faction or, is a sub-faction or something like that. Faction. But we meet Nox, I think is what her name was, the leader of the Crimson Lance. She's looking for Tiny Tina. They make a quick escape. Roland quickly drives in and saves the day. Everyone jumps into the vehicle. And then we head into the piss pits.
Plastic caverns.
Where basically nothing happens. They get chased by the Crimson Lance. They get pissed on. They kill a Thresher. And then they escape. And they pop one single tire. They popped one single tire after driving through piss canyons, armored soldiers shooting at them. Blowing up a Thresher and driving through it, they ended up only popping one single tire. And guess what? They had a backup, because of course they did. We learn about Roland's mission. He doesn't trust Lilith. Lilith tells him to trust her, and then he's like, okay, I'll trust you. And then they keep heading forward. Oh yeah, and Tiny Tina and Lilith have a heart-to-heart where Tiny Tina tells Lilith that Atlas has cloned her and has punished the other clones and has been a real piece of shit to all the clones. And she's like the one that turned out or whatever. She was cloned using Iridium blood, and Atlas is using her to get into the vault. Sounds like something Handsome Jack would do. So then Lilith decides, okay, we can't return her to Alice. That's ridiculous. They meet Tanis. They find out about the vault keys. There's 3 of them. So in this story, the lore is that Iridians created sirens? So then Tiny Tina's like, yeah, and I'm the one.
I will be the one.
I'm the one that can open the vault. When we get all the vault keys, I'm the one that's got to do it because I'm the one that's infused. She's infused with Iridian. So they find this out. They find all the keys. They literally find 2 keys from Tanis going, I feel something. I feel something over here. And then they dig in the dirt. Oh, look, hey, there's a key there. And then another key by Lilith going, opening a lockbox, and there's a key in there. Whoa, isn't that crazy? Which we all know why, right? I mean, if you're a fan of the Borderlands series, you would understand why. Because sirens have an attachment to Iridium. And I'm sorry if this is a spoiler, because I actually just spoiled this for my friend. Tanis is also a siren. I think that's revealed at the end of the second game, towards the end of the second game. And so if you know that sirens are kind of like attached to iridium, like they can feel it. And that's exactly what they were doing in the movie.
It's here somewhere. I know it's here.
How do you know it's here?
Because I'm feeling emotion.
Okay, be more specific.
Thing of power!
Not right now, Creep.
But they don't specify that in the movie. They depend on you to know that. They depend on your own knowledge of the franchise to know that. Even though they're rewriting pretty much everything else about the story. So let's just skip forward to the end, because we basically covered everything else. Okay, so Lilith visits her, like, childhood home, right? And she listens to that recording with her mom.
Lilith?
They find old drawings of Lilith drawing Firehawk, the Firehawk. Through this, Lilith finds out that she is, like, powerful. That she has this Iridian blood in her. So she reveals that when they get cornered, and she's like, hey, guess what, bitches? I have these powers. It's really crazy because it's revealed to her at the age of fucking 40 or 50, and I think being a siren is something that you know straight out the fucking gate, and you have powers that show and that do fucking dope-ass things, but for some reason she wasn't able to actually get those powers until just now. Which was really dumb, and I hated that. Now, after that disappointing reveal, I guess, let's get into the vault. Mostly, from what you see, it's an empty vault. It basically only has enough room on, like, the main platform for the main characters who are in the vault, who are in there, and there's only, like, 2 or 3. And then we get a tentacle monster. Comes in and grabs the dude, yanks him into the pit, and that's the end of that guy. Going into this movie, I will be straight up and honest. I was biased, and I was going into it going, this isn't going to be good. And pretty much every turn of the movie, it wasn't good. There was no redeeming factor in this movie whatsoever. I had like a little bit of hope in my mind of like, oh, there's got to be like one really cool scene or one really good character or something, and nothing. They never made up for the lazy writing. They never made up for the absolute scrapping of all lore and source material that they could have used. This movie should have just died on the shelf. It should have died in the writing stage rather than becoming a B movie, a B video game movie. We have plenty of B video game movies, plenty of bad video game movies. And when it comes to stuff like this, maybe sit down and ask yourself, is this true to the franchise? Is this something that the fans are going to enjoy? And if your answer is an absolute yes, then you're doing it wrong. And that's all I got. Thank you for watching the video. Thank you for sticking around. If you did, slap a like, subscribe. If you liked this kind of a rant review of this movie, let me know, because this was kind of a one-off thing I wanted to do. I had a chance to watch Borderlands for free. Thank God I didn't have to fucking pay for this thing. And so I took it, and I decided to make this video out of it. So tell me if you liked it. If not, maybe I won't do it again. Maybe I will. I don't know. Okay.